Tensions are growing between the United States and the European Union over dealings with Iran. Many European leaders feel that U.S. sanctions against Iran could isolate the EU from Iran and the U.S. market. RT's Peter Oliver explains.
German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas has been in combative mood in an article he's penned in the major German newspaper Handelsblatt. In it, he stresses Europe's determination to keep the Iran nuclear deal alive. Now, that's despite the threat of US sanctions after Donald Trump pulled America out of the 2015 deal back in May. He says that Europe should not allow the US to act over our heads and at our expense. Now, the European Union has said that they will put in place mechanisms to protect businesses from US sanctions, but that is not getting everybody on board. Businesses fear that they could be cut off from the lucrative US market if they continue with their operations in Iran. Well, the latest to say that they're going to be pulling out of their Iranian operations is the French oil giant Total. They're saying they can't risk, what potential these sanctions could take when they would be put in place in November. Also at risk is the SWIFT payment system. Now, that's based in Belgium, the global payment system SWIFT, and without a specific exemption, which they're currently waiting to see if they'll get, well, they would have to cut all of their ties with Iranian banks, otherwise their board members could face asset freezes and travel bans to the US. Now, this article by Maas has been seen as a stand against US domination and a push for more autonomy when it comes to finances on the global stage for Europe. Well, it comes as well as relations between Germany and the United States, between Berlin and Washington, are at their, real lowest ebb in decades. They're at loggerheads over the trade surplus which Germany has, something that Donald Trump has spoken at length about how he doesn't like and how he sees it as European nations getting an unfair advantage. He's also criticised Germany for what he sees as their low military spending. Germany currently isn't spending the 2% of GDP that was agreed on as part of NATO conferences. There's also issues over Nord Stream 2, the gas pipeline, which sees natural gas piped directly from Russia into Germany. Donald Trump says, Germany and Europe should be looking more to the United States and their imports of liquid natural gas. But of course, that is far more expensive. The words are carefully chosen in this article by the German foreign minister. He says that there needs to be a balanced partnership between the United States and Europe. But he also says that Europe has to be able to be the counterweight for when the United States oversteps red lines. And so Germany's foreign minister, they want to create a payment system independent of the U.S. so that they can carry on with the Iran nuclear deal. Do you see Germany moving forward with this?
Well, it's really a sort of an EU thing that Heiko Maas, the German foreign minister, is proposing, Natasha. And there is this thing, it's called SWIFT, and it's the Society for Worldwide Financial Transactions, telecommunications rather. And what that is, a SWIFT system, is it sort of monitors where payments are going. 11,000 banks use it. There's 7 billion messages last year. But right now, the Germans, in this case the foreign minister, but others in Europe are sort of concerned that SWIFT will be changed at the behest of the U.S. Because back in 2012, SWIFT said, hey, no, Iran cannot do any money transactions with anybody all around the world using this SWIFT system, which is an ID system for financial transactions.
But it's interesting because Angela Merkel, she hasn't showed her support for it either. But I mean, even if the EU commits to protecting Iran, do you think that European businesses will also be on board here, or do you think that this will have a huge impact on the market?
Well, two things. One, the foreign minister's of a different party than Angela Merkel. He's a social democrat, a little bit more left, and they made clear, Angela Merkel's spokesperson, look, he speaks for himself. He's not out there. But there is this latent concern that the EU is sort of being, second fiddle, and that they are they're being dictated by the U.S. And they sort of want to stop that. And that's not really a partisan thing over there. Businesses, however, great question that you asked, they look at the bottom line. They want to go where they're going to make money for their shareholders, if they're a private company, where they're going to make money themselves. So I think we have to wait and see on that. Right now, they're going to be scared.
So who knows if other companies will follow suit. We'll just have to, like you said, wait and see.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great example. So this energy company, French company Total, what they originally said when the U.S. was pulling out and said, if any companies do business with Iran, we're going to sanction you. So first of all, Total said, no, we're going to be out of here. But then President Macron of France said, wait a minute, hang in here. We like the nuclear deal. Companies stay in there. We're going to use this thing called a blocking statute that will prohibit sanctions on individual companies separate from the Iranian deal.